Welcome back to Career Mode. This is episode 12, I think. This is what I'm gonna call what we call in Britain when a group of episodes are uploaded in one go. It's an omnibus. This is an omnibus of episodes from the videos that I missed this week. So we're starting things off with Monza. As you can see, we're halfway through qualifying. I forgot. No, I didn't actually forget. I missed half of the thing. I got corrupted, and I'm coming up with a new thing now to make qualifying a bit more interesting. I'm going with a one and done. I get one lap in each session if I can make it through that session, and whatever time I get, that's it. I cannot change it. The only way I can change my lap time is if my lap time is cancelled. So that just spices things up a little bit. But anyway, here we are in Monza now. We're going to come across the line in a moment. We're going to get our lap time. It is a 1:32.8, and as you can see, I actually went off the track twice in the lap, and it turned out to be a bad lap time for us. We really didn't get a good lap from that, so we're not going to be looking that good heading into this this race. So as you can see, my team is, well, I'm very disappointed in myself. I'm trying to explain to my my mechanic that I'm rusty at this game. I haven't raced in some time, so I'm hoping you can forgive me for the rather disappointing performance. And yeah, he's accepted me now. He's like, "Come on, we'll make you better at this game. Come on, kid, let's not get wrecked." But anyway, we're gonna look at the grid now for the standings. As we can see, Rosberg leads from Hamilton, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Raikkonen, Vettel, Ricciardo, Massa, Bottas, Button, Perez, Kvyat, Verne, Sutil, Maldonado, Grosjean, Chilton, Gutierrez, Kobayashi, Bianchi, Ericsson, and Softcheese rounding up the back of the grid. This is actually the second time I've qualified last in this career mode. The last time was Catalonia, which of course got corrupted. But anyway, let's move on from that. As you can see, the track is actually raining, and because of this, I took a slightly wetter setup. I assumed it was going to start off dry and then go wet, but apparently not. Apparently the race is starting off wet, which can be both good and a hindrance to me. Now, while we actually start this, I want to say, and yeah, as I was going to say there before I got interrupted by someone, yeah, this is on mute because the file was so all over the place that I just couldn't save the audio, so I just put it on mute. Anyway, 5 lights, lights out, and away we go. Here at the Monza Grand Prix, and we get off to an awful start. There's just something about wet weather starts that I just cannot do, and I'm just watching the other cars drive away from me. I know I had a bad start when a Caterham has driven past me. Well, it's driven better than me heading into the first turn. But here we go now into the first turn. We're getting some interference from the TV camera. I guess it's cables or something because of the rain. But there we go. We actually get a pretty good turn 1 and turn 2. We're into 17th. I think we made contact with Grosjean slightly. And anyway, we are now driving up this little straight here. Apparently the AI are actually really bad through this straight. We get more interference from the camera. This is actually what it's like watching real life F1 sometimes. The TV pod gets rather messed up sometimes. Now, I was just looking there. I think we almost made contact with Maldonado or someone before that chicane. But look, we had a great chicane there, and we were up into 12th. Our old teammate, Jean-Eric Verne, now ahead of us. He's going rather slow through here. We're just going to drive past him and take 11th position from him rather easily. Now we're heading down to the back straight of Monza. We're going to knock him into rich mixture, try and catch Perez a little bit. And now we're going to, well, as you can see, we're trying to catch him. We're going to go through Ascari now, knock it back down into standard. Ascari is a turn that I can get the, I'm really bad on, no, I think it's, I'm really okay on the entrance, but I'm really bad on the exit. I cannot get on the power soon enough. And behind us, Jean-Eric Verne's trying to overtake us again for 11th position. We've climbed up half the field in one lap, so this has been a good first lap. And now we're going to go through Parabolica. We've got to try and take this as quick as we can. 4th gear through it. We have gained on Perez quite a bit through Parabolica. We're now going to come onto the back straight. Perez is within our sight. We can see his little blinking light to indicate that he is there. We're going back to the back straight now, even in the wet. Look at this, 204, 205, 206, 207, 208, 210 miles an hour before we slam on the brakes. Dive bomb maneuver. Holy dive bomb, Batman. We overtake Perez and Button, and we're up into 9th position. What a dive bomb that was, and geez, that was something else though. As you can see, we're actually getting a lot of interference from the TV camera now, but we're in 9th anyway, and hopefully when this rain begins to go away a little bit. Oh boy, look at this, we go off the track here though, and we made the mistake. We're back down to 10th now. Perez goes past us, but now we're at the end of lap 2. We're on to lap 3. DRS is of course going to be disabled due to the wet weather conditions. We are gaining on Perez though. We've got the speed 213 miles an hour past Perez potentially. Yes, held out a little bit later than him. Put on the brakes later, and now we're back up into 9th position. Back in the points. This is what we need. Here we go now. We're going to try and see if we can gain on Ricardo at all, heading down this little bank right-hander straight type dealy thing and heading into the second chicane. Past sector 1. Now we've gone purple, so we're definitely gaining. Look at this. Something happened here. I think Ricardo overtook Vettel or something. Everyone's going really slow, especially Alonso. Alonso's going extremely slow, and we're just going to slot at the inside of him, almost making contact with Vettel there. And now, if we look ahead, Ricardo's gone off the track, so now we're going to take 7th position from him. I actually had to redo the thing there because someone came into my room and decided to fiddle about with my controller. But anyway, now, here we are, lap 4. We are right behind Sebastian Vettel, the reigning world champion, and look at this. No problem at all. We speed past Vettel, and we're into 6th position now. Next stop, even though he's quite a bit up the road, is Valtteri Bottas. But look at this, we go across the chicane a little bit there. Could be corner cutting with the speed bumps there to make sure that doesn't happen. Lap 6 now, we're going to head in for our pit stop, and the track has dried off quite a lot. It is not raining, and it is drying up very fast. We're going to go in for our pit stop. Something tells me, though, the team might try and put me back on an intermediates, because that's just how this game does it sometimes. So I tell them, put me on the option tyres. We're gonna come in for our pit stop now. Let's see what will happen. Is that, I think that's Jean-Eric Vergne ahead of us, I'm not too sure. Heading in now for our pit stop. Option tyres fitted. We're gonna come out of the pits. Alright, there we go. Vergne comes out just ahead of us, and is it me or is Jean-Eric Vergne have intermediate tyres on? I think he does. And I think everyone around me has intermediate tyres on. They think it's still wet. They think it's still wet enough to put... The AI still think it's wet enough to put intermediate tyres on. Jean-Eric Vergne is on intermediate tyres. We're on option tyres. And now look at this. Down the back straight, we make contact with Vergne because we haven't got a little... Because, you know, it's still a little bit wet out there. But we've taken 12th. And now, at the end of lap 7, we're going to come across the line. Everyone's gone in for the pits again to put on dry tyres. 9th. 8th. 8th. Oh, no, 7th. I can see... That was Jenson Button, and he's got intermediates on. Everyone's just done it wrong. They're all putting on intermediate tyres. We're up to 7th now. This has just been a horror show for the AI. They're putting on intermediate tyres. Now look at this. Perez, who's ahead of me on intermediate tyres, down the back straight, hanging into the parabolica. Puts on the brakes slowly. He's got no grip in those tyres. They are probably overheating. He's just trying to find any damp patches. We take 6th off him, no problem at all. The AI now going to pit in for their dry tyres. We go across the line, fast lap of the race. We're up into 3rd, we're up into 2nd. That's Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton's just coming out of the pit lane. He's finally put on dry tyres. Side by side with Lewis Hamilton heading into the chicane. We've taken the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. I don't mean to be one to toot my own home, but a great tactical maneuver there, because without it, we would have had to have pit in again, and we'd be in the same position as all of these guys, putting on the dry tyres, going 2 laps later. We're in the lead now, considering we started from last in the grid. This has been great. Lap 12 now down the back straight. Lewis Hamilton, though, has been with us all this time. He's now got more grip in his tyres because his are fresher. He's overtaken us with the assistance of DRS into Ascari now. We're trying to follow Lewis Hamilton, but the AI just get grip through here that I cannot match. Going down the back straight now, the Mercedes has so much more power than us, but we're going to try and stay in his slipstream. Looks like he's trying to save fuel. You can tell by the blinking light. We're going to try and use up our fuel to catch him. In this back straight now, heading into Parabolica, I think we will get DRS on him down this back straight. I think we were within a second. Lewis Hamilton, though, is doing a good job. He's driving away with some speed. We are trying to catch him. It is actually very difficult across the line now. We do, in fact, get DRS. We are now trying to gain on Lewis Hamilton. Rich fuel mixture. Hamilton is just somehow driven away. Look at this. 217, 218, 220 miles an hour. Slam on the brakes. Go for a dive bomb. Huge contact with Hamilton. Contact again. We've knocked Hamilton into the gravel. And we've been penalised. We're not going to get a warning for causing a collision. This is our first penalty of the career mode. Penalty ×1 caused a collision, and this is the real big hitter. Time penalty 10, I think it's 20 seconds. So there we go. We cannot win this Grand Prix now unless people behind us are somehow going to crash out. It's not going to happen. We're going to come around this final turn, though. We are in the lead still, but we're not going to win this. It's probably going to be Hamilton that's going to win this Grand Prix. The question is, where are we going to come home? Are we going to come home with a podium finish? I somehow doubt it. We're across the line for 5th position. That isn't that bad. It could have been so much worse. 5th position is a good finish. I'll take it. It's decent. It's mid points. As you can see, we're in 5th place there. I'm happy with that, and to be fair, like I said, it could have been so much worse. We take a look at the standings. Hamilton won from Rosberg, Raikkonen, Hulkenberg, Soft Cheese, Alonso, Bottas, Perez, Massa, Button, Ricciardo, Gutierrez. I'd like to point out there's no Red Bull in the points playing position. Gutierrez, Verne, Grosjean, Vettel, Sutil, Kvyat, Chilton, Ericsson, Maldonado, Bianchi, and Kobayashi. Everyone finished the race. No Red Bulls in the top 10. And that has allowed us to get really close to Daniel Ricciardo now, just 12 points away from him, which is great news for us. We really could take Ricciardo at Singapore if we get a good race out of that. But yeah, this was an odd race, and I think it's because of our choice of tyres that was the real difference. If we didn't pit in earlier for our tyres, I wouldn't have said we wouldn't have finished in the points, to be fair. Thankfully, though, we did, and that means good things for us now as we head into our next track. Let's go on to Singapore. Alright, here we are. We made it into Q3 with our one-shot qualifying laps. There is actually an option in the game to do one-shot qualifying, but it removes practice, and I need practice to do R&D tests and to get a setup going. So here we are anyway in Q3 now, under the dark lights of Singapore, the longest track in the Grand Prix, the longest race in the Grand Prix. This, as you can see, it's about 1 minute 50's lap times, and yeah, it's a horror to do. And yeah, the track is really long as well. Like this is the longest race on the calendar. It actually goes to 2 hours this year in actual real life Formula 1. They actually had to stop the race. They didn't get to finish it. They got to the 2 hour deadline and they had to stop it there. That's how much of a trouble Singapore is. But anyway, here we are qualifying for this track, and I don't know what to say about Singapore. I like it and I don't like it. So it's an okay track overall. It's one of my least favorite street circuits, I'll say that, but yeah, I don't really mind it. Anyway, as you can see, we're the only person who hasn't set a lap time. Everyone else has gone, and well, everyone else has gone in a lap time, but now we're gonna try and set one. I think we went purple in sector 1, and now through sector 2 we have gone 5 seconds up on Bottas, as I think what the screen is telling me. I can't really tell that much. It's a small preview I'm using here, but yeah, here we go. We're gonna come around here, and I'm actually running a setup, and this setup is so amazing. I got no oversteer from it. I really got oversteer. I would get wheel spin and everything, but oversteer was just so rare, and it was amazing. It was a great setup for this track, and I'll be sure now to put in every video that I'll put in one of my detailed. I can't remember what it is. Anyway, we're coming down to the final turn where we're gonna do our lap time is going to be a 1:47.7. I think it was what it is. Yeah, it is, and we've taken pole position by 0.6 of a second from Lewis Hamilton. That is very, very, very good. And look at that, Sergio Perez got 3rd place in qualifying. Nico Rosberg down in 8th. And Ricciardo didn't even get into Q3. But anyway, there we go. Pole position, our 2nd pole of the season, I think. Or is it our... Yeah, it's our 2nd pole of the season, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think the other one is China. But 3 different cars lock out the front row, which is really, really interesting to see. Under the Knights of Singapore as well. Now we're going to get ready for this track, and in a moment we'll be taking a look at the grid. I don't know what Past Me was doing. Past Me was being a pleb right now. Alright, here we go, and going to take a look at the grid. Soft Cheese leads from Hamilton, Perez, Raikkonen, Bottas, Vettel, Hulkenberg, Rosberg, Button, Alonso, so just... Oh, never mind. Massa, Ricciardo, Kvyat, Grosjean, Maldonado, Gutierrez, Sutil, Bianchi, Kobayashi, Ericsson, Chilton, and John-Eric Verne in 22nd position. John-Eric Verne did not set a lap time in qualifying. I think his car went wrong or something. But that's not what I care about. I don't care about John-Eric Verne anymore. He's not my teammate. I care about getting a good result here at Singapore. After what happened at Monza, after the fact that it didn't go that well, I'm looking for a good position. I'm looking for a podium here to potentially overtake Daniel Ricciardo in the championship. There we are, the McLaren on pole, Hamilton in 2nd, and Jensen Button, my teammate, in 9th position. Here we go, lining up for the grid now. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Lights out and away we go. You're in Singapore, and we get off to. We actually get off to a not bad start. Hamilton got off to a terrible start and held up. I think I was Raikkonen behind him. Perez takes 2nd position, and then Raikkonen slots in behind in 3rd. I think I actually got contact from behind by someone because I think I veered off the track slightly. But as you can see, just this setup was so good. We really suffered from trouble, to be fair, around this track. We touched the wall a little bit, but there. And now we're just gonna. I actually was feeling confident off the start that I just put it in lean fuel mixture, and I just decided let's save some fuel for a little bit. Save some fuel for the later stages of the race whenever we're able to get to that point. As we can see, we're 6 tenths ahead already of Perez in 2nd. We had to lock up like a charm there, otherwise we would have gone straight to that wall and probably lost our front wing. Perez used that as an opportunity to gain on us, but that Force India just doesn't have what this McLaren has. We have the same engine, but we are just a better setup. We once again make contact with the wall. Thank God I'm not playing this on PC with the realistic damage mod. I would be out of the Grand Prix by now. As we head now into this slow hairpin turn, we're going around it. Look at that, we just get speed out of it straight away. And Perez is just not in our wing mirrors anymore. We've just pulled out a huge lead over Perez there. We took that hairpin like a regular left-hander, and we are now 1.6 seconds ahead of Perez. So there we have it. As I was saying, if I look at the standings, if Ricciardo doesn't score points in this race, which I think he might come pit stop time, we are easily going to overtake him with his 25 points. We're going to be 13 points ahead of him when we head into Japan. So I hope everything goes well in this race. But we've still got to win this race, which would be our 3rd win of the season. So there we have it. Anyway, we're coming around for the end of the first lap now. Around this interesting left-hander, I cannot get the grip right around that left-hander. We're going to come around. There we go, first lap of the Grand Prix done. We are comfortably in the lead, 2 seconds ahead. Now lap 4, we're breaking up late. Oh no, we've locked off our front wing heading in under the tunnel here. Perez is no longer in the top 3, but that doesn't really matter right now. We've knocked off our front wing. We were meant to be scheduled to pit on lap 6, I believe, but on lap 4 we are going to have to pit in now. And that is awful, awful news for us. Raikkonen takes the lead now. Any chance of us winning the Grand Prix, I would say, is pretty much done. We cannot go any longer without a front wing. We're going in for the pits. Lap 5, we are going to be lucky if we come out anywhere near the top 15, and I don't think we are. We're not even done with our pit stop yet. We're in 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. There we go. We're just dropping down the order. Car has retired, so we could still be last place. I'm seeing the map right now. I would say we're going to come out in a bad place right now. We are going to come out 18th. Yep, we've been overtaken 19th. So we're going to be able to come out ahead of Kvyat. No, it's not looking like it. Coming out in 19th position. Terrible, terrible luck for us. And now we're going to have to go until the end of the race on these tyres. Now, lap 5, well, heading into this hairpin again, we overtake Kobayashi with very little problems. And now we're going to head into lap 6. We're coming around this left-hander again. People have begun to pit now. Are we going to come out back in a points position? 15th, 14th, 13th, 12th, 11th, 10th. Yes, we are just about in the points. And now, my old Toro Rosso, that car I used to drive, Daniel Kvyat ahead of me in 9th position now. Lap 7, here we go. We're looking onto Kvyat. He veers out wide. I'm pretty sure we didn't make contact with him. He swerves back in on us. A rather dirty maneuver. Brakes really early. We just go around the outside of him for 9th position. Lap 7 now. We actually get a pretty good line coming out of that turn. 149.4. Alright, lap. Where are we going to come out? We are going to come out in 4th, potentially 3rd. I think that's Raikkonen. It is Raikkonen. We're in 3rd position. And now it's just all, we cannot catch the Mercedes. These tyres are going to be shredded. And look at this, lap 15 now. End of the race. Nothing happened. The tyres are gone. They are destroyed beyond belief. Just oversteering all over the place. I had a queue behind me. They should have overtaken me laps and laps ago, but thankfully the AI in this game are rather bad, so I was able to hold on for 3rd position at the Singapore Grand Prix. Not what I was looking for. Well, I was looking for a podium, but the team wanted me to win. I couldn't get the win, unfortunately, but 3rd position is still a podium place, and that means we have overtaken Ricciardo. There he is. Didn't get a points. We've overtaken Ricciardo in the championship. But anyway, Hamilton won from Rosberg, soft cheese, Vettel, Raikkonen, Bottas, Alonso. Button, Massa, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Perez, Maldonado, Grosjean, Gutierrez, Verne, Suttel, Kvyat, Bianchi, Kobayashi, Chilton, Ericsson, DNF'd. Wouldn't have made a difference. He would have finished in 22nd position anyway. If we take a look at the Drivers' Championship, there we go. We're only 3 points ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, though. That needs to be so much better, and unfortunately for us, it's not, but we are in 4th position in the Drivers' Championship. Looking at the top 2, Rosberg only just ahead of Hamilton right now, and we are 4th, of course, in the Constructors' Championship. Here we are, our 3rd podium of the season, so that is pretty good. 3 out of 4 races for McLaren have been podiums, all of them have been points, so I'm really enjoying my time with McLaren right now, and now we move on to Japan, the last race of this episode. I bet if you've stuck around for this long in one sit-in, thank you, I suppose. But here we are, we're in Q3 again, we're going to get our one and done lap out of the way. Japan is a track that I really do struggle with. This track is perfect for the AI, because the AI get better traction than me. They can get on the power much sooner, and they can just drive around this track like it's nobody's business, whereas the AI, whereas myself, I really do struggle around this track. I can't get braking lines done correctly. I can't get out of the corners correctly. I can't get on the power soon enough. I'm just all over the place on this track. Thankfully, though, we made it into Q3 with very little troubles. And I'd like to say, if you've been watching this episode and you're wondering why this sounds like a wobble, my stand for my mic is beginning to give out, so my pop filter is actually rather heavy, so it's beginning to give out slightly. I am looking to get a proper mic stand soon, so that the wobble will decrease by a lot, but that's for another video. Well, it is if I ever get it and I haven't decided to do a setup. But anyway, now we're into Q3, we're halfway around the lap. As we can see, Massa's taken pole position with a very good time, if I remember rightly. It hasn't come up yet, but anyway, here we go. Rich Mixture now down this back straight. There it is, a 141.4 by Massa. We are 0.4 down on him, but this 3rd sector, the AI are rather slow through. We take the left-hander flat, the AI begin to lift off. Round the chicane now. Oversteering a little bit out of it. We're going to come across the line for a 141.4. We are just ahead of Massa, but that was useless by the end of it. We can see we have finished in 10th regarding qualifying. That was like, it was a one and done lap. I'm happy with it, because I was still actually rather close to my teammate. I was only 0.1 away from him, but I don't know why I'm being happy. I'm still in Q3. I mean, 7th position's a bit much, but it doesn't matter to me. Let's see how it happens in the race. We're still in the 5th row of the grid for qualifying, so that means good things. Let's take a look at the grid anyway. Hamilton from Rosberg, Vettel, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Massa, Alonso, Raikkonen, Button, Soft Cheese, Bottas, Grosjean, Perez, Kvyat, Verne, Suttil, Maldonado, Gutierrez, Kobayashi, Bianchi, Chilton, and Ericsson. Kvyat's been out qualifying Verne a lot more. It's because he's got my car, and my car did a lot of R&D testing on it, and it was better than Verne's in every single way. But anyway, here we go, the last race of this episode before we move on to Russia. My monitor has turned off. And there we go, now I'm back. Here we go now on the grid. Mercedes lockout again. Button in 9th. I'm in 10th. I think this is the first time my teammates have qualified me aside from Monza. We don't talk about Monza. We should actually, it was a 5th position, it was good. Anyway, here we go, on the grid. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Lights out and away we go here for the Suzuka Grand Prix. Japanese Grand Prix is underway. We get off to a good start. We're overtaking Button already. Button didn't get off to the best of starts. Raikkonen going slow. We're able to get past him. Massa veers out in front of us. We make slight contact with him. But look at this. We are just going through the middle of everyone. We're up into 5th position already. 5 positions gained in the first 2 turns. Ricciardo put on the brakes really early there. I think he was trying to juke us because we had to brake early and we couldn't get 4th position off him. We're stuck behind Ricciardo now, and it's a Mercedes 1, 2, a Red Bull 3 and 4. And pretty much this is probably the closest we're going to get to this battle, because like I said, I'm not very good at this track and the AI are just so much better. I don't know how they take that turn flat out, because I just can't. I don't know what happened there. I got caught on some sort of curb. I think I got caught on the auto spin curb and I just went right off the track and I slipped back down to 9th position, 10th position actually. But now here we are heading into the hairpin. Late braking, dive bomb down 2 of them, back up to 8th position now. Really wasn't happy about that move, going off the track, but that's what I get for sticking on the curb for so long. I need to learn to not do that from now on. But here we go, 8th position now. Raikkonen ahead of us. He seems to be going rather slow because Alonso's driven away from him. But we take an awful line out of this left-hander, oversteering a lot there, and we are unable to get on the power soon enough up this straight. Raikkonen is just driven off. We're trying to gain on him, but we've got the better engine, but we just got to get on the power sooner. Here we go, taking that corner flat out, shifting back down to 7th gear, heading into the chicane now, late braking right behind Raikkonen, cutting the chicane a lot, but we didn't get penalised for it, so it doesn't really matter. Side by side with Raikkonen, now he's right across the line. We are going to take 7th position over the first lap. Could have been 5th, but it is what it is. Anyway, we're heading on now to lap 2. I think Alonso tried overtaking Hulkenberg or whoever it was. It was Hulkenberg, and he paid the price for it. A dive bomb maneuver on Alonso as well, using up all of the track to overtake him, and now 6th position is ours. So there we go, slowly moving our way back up the order, and that's what we need to see. Trying to recover from that mistake on the first lap. It just hasn't been easy though. Alonso is still behind us, so we've got to try and conserve ourselves ahead of him. Lap 5 now, there is Alonso. He is now right behind us. We're trying to stick with him, we're trying to outdo him, but look at this, our mistake there. We brake late to try and keep Alonso behind us on the way out. We get caught on the gravel, the car goes to almost a halt, and Alonso takes 6th position back from us. We attempt a maneuver up the inside on the hairpin, but we just cannot get it done. And Alonso is firmly in 6th position now, and he's going away. Lap 6, the tyres are rather gone. A lot of locking up heading into the chicane. Our DRS is disabled. That doesn't really matter. Heading in for our pits right now. Let's see what kind of stop we can get. In fact, Alonso has pitted, and Alonso is unfortunately going to come out ahead of us, as I can already tell. He is, well, he's left before we've even got into the pits. So there we go, 3.7 stop as per usual, not held up, but unfortunately, oh no, I actually thought Massa was going to overtake us in that pit stop there. I thought he was going to jump us, but apparently he did not. That was rather odd, but anyway, there we go. We come out in 14th position. Not the best of stops, but thankfully there are some cars ahead of us that haven't pitted. Look, we're still behind Alonso, so things are okay regarding that right now. And now here we are, end of lap 7. We're coming around back straight again, taking this corner flat. I run an automatic gearbox, but I learned how to shift down, so I usually shift down for 7th for that part. Heading through the chicane now. Perez, and I cannot tell who that is as well. I think it's a Lotus. They've gone into the pits though, so now we're able to drive past them. They did a bad maneuver on their pit stop. It was Maldonado. Now we're in 12th, 10th, 9th. Are we going to come out in 8th? Yes, we are. We're going to come out in 7th. Yes, we are. Back in 7th position. No positions lost, but no positions gained. That's a bit of a problem, and I think it's going to stay 7th position for the rest of the race. As we can see, it actually has. Lewis Hamilton's won this Grand Prix. Lap 13 now, end of the race. Massa's right behind us. He never overtook us, and he never drove too far away. But now, as we come to the end of this, we're going to come across the line for 7th position. I'm rather happy with that, because a not so good qualifying, an awful mistake, and a track I don't like meant that we were able to come away with the 7th position, still a points finish, and that is good. That is what we need. Unfortunately, we are going to be overtaken by Daniel Ricciardo, because as we can see, Hamilton won from Rosberg, Ricciardo, Vettel, Hulkenberg, Alonso, Soft Cheese, Massa, Raikkonen, Button, Grosjean, weird, Gutierrez, as I wait for past me, there we go, Sutil, Kvyat, Maldonado, Perez, Verne, Ericsson, Bianchi, Chilton, Kobayashi, and Bottas did not finish the race, unfortunately for him. If we take a look at the driver standings, we're back down to 5th, and Ricciardo is now 6 points ahead of us. As we head into Russia, he is now, I can't set a rival because I shifted teams halfway through the season, but he's my rival. That is my personal rival. I want to beat Ricciardo by the end of this season. We are still 4th in the Constructors' Championship, and I don't see that changing until the end of the season, or rather for the rest of the season. But there we go, 3 races done in this episode. My fault for being inconsistent, and yeah, I'm hoping that I can get this back underway, back on track, and I will hopefully see you on Tuesday for the Russian Grand Prix. Until then, guys, take care, and ta-ra!